Absolute bloodbath. Absolute bloodbath. The market is bleeding like crazy. This is the weekly, this is the monthly, but we do have a little bit of bullishness on the day, and I do believe that the bottom could be, even though the local bottom could be, even though that we are getting into the 35th day of the US government shutdown, the longest in history. Crypto is down 22%. Absolute bloodbath. The market is crypto is down about 22% since October 6th, which was the marking the top basically. ETH down 35% over the last month. And even though from the moment I made the video that the bull market is over, the market is down hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars. So the question comes, is it only crypto? And today we can see it's not just crypto. So in the last month, we have $1 trillion wiped off of crypto. But yesterday alone, there was $730 million. That was $1 billion that was wiped from the US stock market as well. This could ripple down to crypto for an even more downside, which we're going to talk about today. 300,000 traders are being liquidated every single day on average. Absolute bloodbath. And in that, I'm still long. So you might be wondering why Ren doesn't understand why I'm long. So in this video, I'm going to explain to you why I am taking the long, why I'm long short term, and where I see the market heading on the longer time frame. If you're here, let me know in the chat. Let's have an amazing show. I'm happy to be here. Let's go. So multiple things. I'm just trying to figure this out. I'm trying to figure out which show here started to trigger this here for me. Let me just. Okay, here we go. Here we go. So I wanted to send a message. I think it's something that we all need. All need to hear. So we're gonna listen to this together.
Fuck crypto. You don't need the anxiety. Before you bought the bullshit fantasy coin, your life was good. But then you made some money and became greedy. Now the bullshit coin is fucked. And nobody can tell you when it is going to be unfucked. Even the motherfucker who convinced you to buy the bullshit coin, who told you that it is going to be the next big thing, that motherfucker is nowhere to be found. You are on your own. And all you can do is cry about it in the shower and hope and believe that your bullshit coin will go up in price again so that you can sell it and make some money and buy some more and then get fucked all over again. That is crypto.
Unfortunately, this is basically where we are. This is my general thoughts on the market as well, but obviously I brought you a little bit more alpha than that, so let's jump into that. The major alpha that I brought for you today is that I created a template, so like you don't have to actually think when you're filling out the application to McDonald's. Asking salary, go for 350 at least, I would say. Relevant skills, trading away my money, drawing lines on the charts, shit talking on X, gambling, you know. Special skills, unwavering belief in my abilities to outsmart everyone else. I think you're kind of set for this if you want to apply for McDonald's after this whole carnage. I think this is like a copy paste and then good to go. Okay, let's go. So what is interesting, why the carnage happened yesterday, right? And we've been talking about this for a long time, and I've personally said, as I said, I made a video on this on the 𝗙𝗘𝗃 Club, which is my trading channel. You can actually just go down on the bottom here and see it. If you're rewatching, you can see it here, and just click on subscribe there as well. And of course, if you're not subscribed here, do that too. But since then, there is something special that basically happened today that either spoofed the market or was just way too big selling pressure. One of the biggest ones is that most of the selling pressure was coming from Binance, and no wonder, which is again, like I don't know what is happening there, but they've been clipping over 3,000 Bitcoin in 15 hours. We're talking about $400 million worth of Bitcoin just clipping into the market and selling on Binance, which put massive selling pressure and potentially spoofed a lot of whales, potentially spoofed a lot of people, and that resulted in this massive crash yesterday. But it's not only crypto, which is interesting because we're going into, you know, there is this thesis of crypto and stock market is correlated. Well, I don't know what stocks are you looking at because the stock market is flying and crypto is basically dying the past month at least for sure. But now we see a cooling down on the stock market. So So it's not only that we already had a broken structure and the bleeding crypto space, now we have on top of that the bleeding stock market, which can obviously add fuel to the fire and can result in an even bigger or quicker meltdown that we would have potentially expected. 4.5% down on the Nikkei, which is the Japan's S&P 500, basically 225 biggest companies. 4.5%. That's massive, 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 massive. $730 billion liquidated from the stock market. And when it comes to crypto, the RSI, Bitcoin's RSI is down to December 22nd lows, which is the pico bottom of the bull market. Now, I don't use RSIs, but when you're looking at a higher time frame, I mean, you can't ignore this. You just simply can't ignore this. And even in the bear markets, and even if bleeding down, there are bear market rallies and there are retracements that happen to, again, trap people. I also talked about this. Every single pump in the next 90 days is there to trap you. And I do believe that the pump is loading, that needs to take these a little bit overboard when we're so back, when everything is fine and crypto euphoria takes over. But you can't ignore the signs that 95% of the tokens are completely oversold. Oversold to the level, again, if you look at this, the RSI on Bitcoin is down to December 22nd lows. So this is something that you could start thinking about, and you can go, okay, so does that mean that Bitcoin, that we're, reversing and all-time highs again and all that? And there are multiple voices that you potentially listen to, and I respect as well, and everybody's saying something different. So Ben Cowan, for example, who I actually respect a lot, has been calling for a bear market end of year and next year. And he's putting out that the 50-week moving average, if that breaks below, that will basically confirm the bear market. Then you have Ron Paul, who again I respect a lot, is with his bullish sentiment. He's saying that liquidity will come back and that you just have to watch liquidity. And once liquidity comes back, everything will go to the moon and everything will be fine. And then you've got people who are saying that the bull market is not over and we're just gonna continue as it is and it's a correction, Ren included in this camp. But what is interesting here is that, and this is why I brought this here, is that this post, for example, then says this bull phase in Bitcoin and crypto ends when no one thinks it's ending. So not now. It does not end when every person involved in crypto Twitter is crying, panic, or exiting or whatever. Now, a week ago, we've been at extreme greed. So like people forget extremely fast. The bull market didn't end today. It didn't end today. It ended on the 18th. As I said on the video, 3 weeks ago. The sentiment that we're getting now, in my opinion, again, everything obviously is my opinion and not financial advice, is not the result of the ending of the bull market now, is the result of ending of the bull market on the 18th of October, when we had the first close below on the daily chart. So what you see now is not like, oh my God, now everybody's expecting the bull market to end, so this is probably dead. Bruh, no one expected the bull market to be over a week ago. Everybody bought the dip. Everybody bought the dip. Everyone. So saying that now that everybody's expecting, I'll tell you one thing. If you look at the chart and you look back in 2021 on the daily or whatever, here was the exact same sentiment. People were buying the dip here. And here everybody went, oh, the bear market, not everybody, but a lot of people went, oh, the bear market is over. And the people who didn't go, oh, the bear market is over, had to stomach this 70% drawdown. So don't make mistakes when you read posts like this saying, oh, everybody thinks that then it's not going to end. Bro, no. No, when it ended, no one thought it was going to end. There were weeks past. And now we're looking at the fact that we were at 80 extreme greed just 7 days ago. And we're looking at 20 extreme fear now. But it's important to note that even though I believe the bull market is over, we're going to debate with Brent on this. I said this multiple times and I just want to clear it out so it's clear for everyone. I don't believe the 4-year cycle exists anymore. I think the up only or the massive pumps, sustainable pumps is over. We're not going to have sustainable pumps going forward in the next 3 months, 6 months. And I believe that we are much more crypto as a whole, but Bitcoin specific. Bitcoin is probably decoupling. I'm going to talk about it in a second. But as a whole, we're getting into a situation where the market is just going to bleed or chop down 60-70% from the total from the top, which is potentially 30, 40, 50% more from here. So when we get there, I would say that 6 months or whatever that might be is the bear market. I don't think we're going to go into a 2-year bear market and nothing is going to happen. I think what is going to happen is that we're going to go into a 6 months bleed, choppiness, whatever that might be, which I consider a shortened bear market. And then I have to agree with Roll on the fact that liquidity will come back because there is $7 trillion sitting at money managers waiting for the 50% rate cut to happen after May when JP is out of the Fed. Jerome Powell, who's the Fed chair, Trump is going to replace that guy in May. He has to leave. New Fed is going to be established. Rates will be cut. The big beautiful bill will come in, and everything will moon because that $7 trillion that is sitting in money for 4.5% interest a year now only gets 1.5% interest a year, and they will need to find a way to actually capitalize on that $7 trillion. If only 1% of those ripples down, I'm happy. You know what I mean? So that said, I said here in this post, it's worth reading, by the way. It's pinned onto my X profile. You will get the link in the description to my X. But it's worth reading this post. And I say here, what I believe is next, we're likely to chop sideways or drift lower for a while, building up liquidity. Then we'll likely get one final push into the bearish daily order block around 4.17 trillion, likely before November 13th. Right? So I've drafted this here. You can look at this, and there's basically a choppiness down here. I said 3.4. Now we're down much lower. Where are we at now? We're 3.34. Okay, so not that much down lower. So I drafted this here, by the way, just so it's clear for everybody. So we're down here, and I said that we are potentially, so if you compare this, so this is what I drafted, and then this is where we're now. So basically right here, and then I said we are going to come all the way back up here to the 4.17 trillion, which is all the way up here. That would basically mean this. Now, I also said it was 18th of October. I also said that I believe that will happen before November 13th. And one of the reasons why I said that is because I was on a belief that they are going to do the Clarity Act. They will push through the Clarity Act, which will give and ignite a new narrative in crypto that could be rode and said, oh, we're out of the bush and everything is fine. And even though we have a daily structure break and nothing moves the market in the positive side, this could be the narrative that people ride and that pushes us back to at least close to the daily high, right? Now, I'm not even sure we're going to get to the daily high, to be very honest with you. We can even just chop like this and then come back 50 around here and then just reject from there. I don't know exactly. But what I know is that this is the plan, that we are going to have a push. Now, if I believe that as they say here, that the Clarity Act is going to be accepted or approved before Thanksgiving, which is 27th of November, that means, it says the real chance of low passes before end of 2025. That means that before the end of 2025, we should have this push that would be the trap. Why? Because we have a low here, we have a push, a retrace, normal market structure, and a nuke. If you want to learn more about this whole thing, again, you can just see my video on the 100x Club. I dropped these daily updates there. It says this is the end of the bull market. We're going to put it up in the card as well. But also you can just go down here on this video. If you're rewatching, you can click on this and you'll be able to subscribe to the 100x Club. Watch that video because I think it's worth it. Now, if that is going to happen though, if that is going to happen, I have to be long. One of the main reasons I'm longing is because exactly that, because I believe, and this is the video that I made today, I did this daily update 10 minute. I said crypto bottom is confirmed, question mark. The only video you need to watch today is because what is that actual level that I'm looking for and why am I actually longing, okay? The reason is super simple, because Jim Cramer said that we'll go lower. That's basically the only reason. It was a joke, guys. But other than that, I'm also long because I believe the push is happening today. And so the reason why I believe the push is happening today is, one, we came back into the today this week, multiple things. One is we came back down to the weekly OB. I think this is a very, very strong level. We came down, we liquidated, whatever. I explained all this on the 100x Club, okay? But if you look at the 15-minute chart and the 5-minute chart, we do have a beautiful established market structure, right? It's called the 4-pointer structure. I teach you all that over at the 100x Club. But 4-pointer structure, 1, 2, 3, 4. This here, marking a higher high, having a retrace into an OB, marking a higher high, and consolidating, is a very, 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 very strong reversal signal on the lower time frame, okay? This doesn't mean that this is going to the moon, and it doesn't mean that this is going to be new all-time highs, and it doesn't mean that it is guaranteed. But the reason why I took the long here, and I shared it with the community, I also have a private community, it's free, you can join in. I shared it here, and I said, if it's long now. Long now, and I said I'm longing Sol. A long Sol 30x, this is the result so far, okay? So the reason why I longed here and here is because exactly that, higher high, retrace, higher high. Beautiful 4-point structure confirmed. Now here's what I'm looking at, here's the level that I think will basically decide if this is the beginning of the reversal or not. And that is the hourly order block. This is the hourly supply zone up here. I'll tell you the good and I'll tell you the bad. The good part is that the lower time frame structure is beautiful for us to continue pushing, okay? So even if we retrace here to 50%, mark whatever, we don't violate this low and then we go higher and then we reject and you know, like we just mark within the market structure, it's good. That's the good part, that we have a beautiful lower time frame structure coming into a higher time frame OB. This is the bad part, because the way it's coming into a higher time frame OB, I don't like it, because usually what I say, if you have a bearish structure, which is elevator down, stairs up, clearly a bearish structure, you always want to be on the elevator. If that happens, and then you have an accumulation right before the beginning of a very impulsive move, meaning this dump here, that is very bearish, because usually what happens is that people take shorts here because they think the rejection is coming earlier, and then you have manipulation. This is what's happening. We manipulate into the higher time frame OB, liquidating these people over here, and once that's done, there's a reversal, and that's when they continue sending it lower on the higher time frame, meaning on the hourly. This is a proper risk. So this is what I always tell you. I can't help you if you're not joining into the private Telegram. I can't come here every day. I am coming and doing these 5-10 minutes updates on the 100 Desktop channel, but I do recommend you just come here and join into the community. I mean, that's where I can update you when it happens. If it happens at 1 a.m. or 3 a.m., whatever, I'm gonna post about it. But this is a proper threat that can happen. But if this does not happen, meaning this is still the current low, we didn't have a 50% retrace, so that's not a problem. If we start chopping here, doing something like this, and then we come down to 50% and able to bounce here, meaning a lower time frame, like 5-minute market structure shift, guys, this is the beginning of the reversal. And how high the reversal is going, I don't know. Does it go all the way 365, which is the 4-hour high on the total market cap? Or are we going all the way and liquidating these and coming all the way up here to the 401? Or are we going into the daily, it'll be up 417? I don't know. What I know is I want to be on this ride. And the reason why I'm taking the risk is because I want to be in on this ride. So TLDR, the thing that you should watch for, what I'm looking for, is the rejection here. We're most likely going to get a rejection. Like I would not wonder if we had the rejection. There is stock market crashes, whatever that is. So we could see a rejection. If the rejection is very impulsive, meaning it's something like this, I am going to get out of my long. Like I can't do nothing else. I'll get out and I will try to find a new entry. But if it's more of like building up liquidity, something like this above this 50% level, I'm gonna be chill. I'm gonna be chill because it just comes back here. If it comes down, also building up liquidity, even better. And then it's game on. And then it's game on for the higher time frame. So a close above this level here, close above the 3.46 trillion, is definitely something that I want to watch out for. If we have a close above here, that's a strong confirmation for me that things are actually about to get crazy. You know, you are still early to take longs when that happens. There'll be choppiness. We can chop here for a day, whatever. So it would also be a little bit surprising if we just bounced here. But I don't rule that out because of the market structure that I see. So far, that's it. I want to tell you one thing. is that there will be a lot of players. So in this and in the bear market as well, but in general, when it comes to these very tough periods in the market, there will be very, very bad players. And Chris Bernsky has a very good post here saying, we're likely to find out the quarters ahead which emperors aren't wearing clothes. And some emperors losing their clothes will be conditional on others being revealed as naked first. What he means, I don't know what he means, but what I think he means is that there will be so many players in the industry, KOLs, influencers, exchanges, anything, wallets, whatever you keep your money at, that will potentially be at risk. So be sure that you are secured in terms of your capital. Make sure that you are in exchanges that you know about. I can tell you, our partner here, OKX, I've been with OKX for a while now. They are one of the most regulated exchanges that I know of. And I'm saying this with all the good and all the downside. The downside is that, yes, you have to be compliant. OKX doesn't take the end route. It's not like non-KYC. You can do whatever you want to do. They take the compliant route, but that means that I can keep even my business on there. They are obviously the title sponsor for McLaren. They have massive activations, all the licenses you need around the globe, including the MiCA license in Europe. So if you want a compliant exchange that you can be 100% certain not going to go under, and your funds are safe, you can stake them and you can trade, you can keep your funds on there. I do believe OKX is a very, very great option. I'm also very grateful to having them on the show as partners. Massive shout out to them. There is a link in the description. If you go down, you will be able to see it. You can sign up there, but definitely, please make sure that you know what you are doing with your own capital. That said, how come I understand? Okay, Alex Becker. Alex Becker told me that we're not gonna dip Q2. He has a post. I can actually show it to you. So he had this. He commented on my post saying, "Nah, Q2," and I was like, "Bruv." Let me just find it here. Yeah, here. Look at this. So I said, I said you have 30 to 60 days because major gets destroyed. I was actually wrong. You had 10 days. So I was a bit, over exaggerating. I thought it was more healthy, but no, it didn't. Majority is getting destroyed now. So that is what's happening. And he was like, nah, Q2 2026. But respect to Alex Becker, but I mean, come on, man. You can't always scream higher, because the wolf's gonna eat you. Need to risk it for the biscuit. Let's ride this roller coaster together. Chop, long time no body shaming. That's what it is. I'm losing weight, bro. So you've got a couple of months left. Testicular fortitude. Chart hacker fam. I have such a shot at Dylan. I can't share that photo with you, but it's we've been at the KTV in Singapore. It's crazy. I mean, it's nothing obscene or anything. It's just Dylan is like smoking a cigarette and drinking whiskey and all that stuff. Great explanation. Thanks. You're welcome. Alt season. Things will go insane. Even Cardano holders will get laid. Okay, sure, Lucas. Sure. Profile to your ex. Is she still worth it? I don't know what that means. It's been a while. A from the Philippines. What's up? Jim from Sweden. 0 respect for Alex Becker. Look, I respect Alex Becker for one thing. He stands by his thesis. He's losing millions and millions and millions and millions. But he is standing firm, and he's like, he actually just had a post that I actually read it just before the show. He said, love or hate me, my money and actions are where my mouth is. And this is exactly why I respect him. I did and still do believe we see all-time high ETH breakout followed by a raging alt season next year. I agree. I'm down bigly, but I'm holding the line just as I said I would. We win together, that together. So this is why I respect him. I genuinely respect him for this. For the fact that he's, standing his ground. I think that's amazing. It's very difficult, especially mentally, to hold your ground as an influencer, a KOL coming here and whatever. Deleting my comment. The problem is because he's not here, so I can't speak at the same time, explain and delete your comment. So unfortunately or fortunately, that's not happening. That glow after getting married is real, bro. Was just quoting Becker. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, exactly, yeah. Scam me Fefe. Natural fitness. Oh, what a smart fucking comment today. I mean, can I ban this guy here? No, I can't. I would actually ban this guy from the channel. He warned as Casino 50/50. Yeah. Sorry late, no worries. Okay, guys, I think that's it. Make sure that you do the following. Subscribe to the channel here, come back for another one. I do these maybe a couple of times a week. We are going to drop the quantity because I'm dropping much more content on the 100x Club. I'm focusing a lot on doing these 5-minute daily updates. So we'll put the show up, and also you can just go down and see right here on the subscribe button. You can subscribe to both channels. And also make sure that you join in on the community. It's free. There is a link in the description. It is not going to be free for a long time. I know that for a fact, but you can see it here, top of the description. You'll be able to join in and see you there. Guys, I truly appreciate every single one of you. This is going to be the daily update from today. If you want it in a shorter TLDR version, go and check this out. Subscribe to the channel. This is going to be the subscribe button. And this is going to be the playlist that you should come here and see. Guys, I truly appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.